All right, today I'm here with Ronnie Chism, the commander, correct, at the American Legion Post
Correct.
1214.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got your Marines gear on, so I'm not even going to ask where you served. How long did you serve for?
I served 19 years, 7 months, and 24 days. 20 years, call it.
Wow. When did you sign up?
Pardon
What
me?
year did you sign up?
I signed up in 75, went in January 76.
Okay. How old were you, 18?
I was 18.
Yeah?
Yes.
Straight into the Marines the whole time?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, definitely.
So what made you want to join the military?
You know, I was born and raised in Arizona, and my folks moved to Arkansas because my dad had a bad accident.
Okay.
And so decided to move to Arkansas because that's where his brother was. And they couldn't afford to send me to college. I couldn't afford to go. And so it was like the military for me. And I wanted to be the best there was. And of course, that was a Marine. And so there I went.
Okay.
You know, and it was a challenge.
Yeah.
But
especially female Marines.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
And-
you don't find too many female Marines.
yeah, and no, and at that time,
Yeah.
you know, the recruiters didn't tell you. They couldn't tell you anything about the women in the Marine Corps
Yeah.
or what recruit training was going to be like. 'Cause
Yeah.
they had not a clue.
Yeah.
They didn't know anything.
Yeah.
And so there was no preparing for it.
Yeah.
And so it was tough, but I was up for the challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you stayed in for 20 years.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. And I loved it. When it came time to re-enlist the first time, I didn't know, you know, because I didn't think that I would make it past Lance Corporal in my first 3 years. Well, there I was a sergeant, and I re-enlisted for 6 because I knew that I was going to be a Marine, and that's what I wanted to do. And so I stayed in, and that was who I was. I was a Marine, and you know I was hard charging, and you know those guys weren't going to tell me that I couldn't do what I knew I was going to do.
That's your fuel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah. That's your fuel. Jan let it slip that you were a drill sergeant.
Oh, she let it slip.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she let it slip.
Arr, Marine Corps.
How
Yeah.
long were you a drill sergeant
Well,
for?
I was at Parris Island. I was a drill instructor for 2 years for the recruits,
Uh-huh.
and that was amazing.
Male and female?
Just females.
Just females?
Females for that
Yeah.
2 years at Parris Island, and then I went to Okinawa, Japan, from '86 to '87, and I was an instructor, drill instructor for the NCOs, non-commissioned
Oh, cool.
officers.
Yeah.
And that was mixed.
Yeah. How'd you like Japan?
You know, that was different. It was like your feet off the ground because you were, you know, no longer in the United States.
Yeah.
And so that was very different. You know, and I don't like cultural food.
Yeah.
I'm Mexican. That's about my,
Yeah.
you know.
Chips and salsa.
Yeah, chips and salsa. You know, because I'm a strictly meat and potatoes
Yeah.
kind of person. And so, you know, it's like I joke a lot about I survived over there on red cream soda and Oreos.
I'm telling you, they had the best Oreos. All
Yeah.
kinds of.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
candy in Japan is
Yeah.
insane.
But,
That's awesome.
Yeah, I trained the NCOs over there, and that was amazing because while I was in Japan, as an instructor, we were restructuring that course over there for the NCOs, and we went up to the northern training area, and we did rappelling off the cliffs, and before instructors became rappel masters.
Oh, wow.
And so we got to spy rig,
Yeah.
and you know what that is?
No,
That
tell me.
is spy rigging is, you know, you've seen the helicopters
Yeah.
with folks dangling
Yeah, yeah.
on a rope.
Uh-huh.
That's that.
Oh, wow.
And that is just awesome.
Yeah.
And had I not been that instructor over there at that point in time, I would have never
Got
done
to
that.
do it. Yeah.
And it was just crazy.
Yeah,
It
that's
just-
awesome.
Yeah, just, you know, flying through the breeze, you know, dangling on that rope, you know, with nothing.
Yeah,
you know,
it's like
you
a
got
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like awesome, you
Yeah.
know, over a tri-foliage jungle.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And jumped out of the helicopters, rappelling. And I remember the first time that I jumped out of the helicopter, because we had slack on the rope, and I jumped out over the cliff, and as we were training to become the rappel masters, and my belay person, I was set free of the rope, and the down blast from the helicopter was blowing me because I was like 100 pounds soaking wet at the time. And the down blast was blowing me, and I couldn't catch myself. And one of the rappel masters grabbed me and threw me to the ground. And I didn't realize it at the time, but I was just feet from being blown over that cliff.
Yeah.
And it was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
But that was just an awesome time over there, because I did things over there that I never would have gotten to do in the States.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And I when you were talking about when we started the drill sergeant thing, it made me think about being, like you said, when you enlisted, those guys didn't know what you were in for, right? So you got to experience that, so you got to tell the girls that came in after you what they were in for.
Right.
So it was extremely important, and I think you probably helped a lot of women come through, probably better than you had it going in.
Right.
My aunt was a detective in southern Kansas, retired now, but I mean, she was in the police force, in the early 70s, and there wasn't a lot of women, and especially in southern Kansas.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a boys' club, and she had to do a lot of stuff and deal with a lot of stuff that, that now it's not even a thing, but then it was.
Right.
Big time. Big time. So what'd you do after your drill sergeant? Anything else? Just
I was my MOS, my military occupational specialty, was legal services.
Okay.
And after I became a staff NCO, I always had a high-profile billet working for the staff judge advocate. And so I taught to the staff NCO classes. I taught them the military justice courses.
Okay.
And so I would do stuff like that. But it's just like, the staff judge advocate and the legal services offices are like a big law firm. They have their defense section, their like the prosecuting section, and they have the legal admin, which is the administrative side of the house.
Yeah.
So they just have it all wrapped into one. And we did legal assistance, which is wills, powers of attorney for all the service members.
Yeah.
Whether it be Army, Navy, whoever stationed on the base.
Yeah.
Because we always had little detachments of different services, depending on which base I was on.
That's cool. So what brought you back to Springfield?
Well, like I said, I am from Arizona.
Yeah.
And I always said when I got out I was going to be a dirt farmer in Arizona.
Yeah.
But my sister married a Marine who was an old family friend. My parents were old friends of theirs, and he just happened to be a Marine, and they met up when our families got together. As a matter of fact, when I was on leave from Okinawa, our families got together, and they met up. He used to change our diapers. So they met up and started corresponding, and they got married while I was in Japan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so his family's from Nixa.
Okay.
And so when he retired, they moved to Nixa. And so it was like, this is where my family all was when I got out.
Yeah.
And so it was like, I hadn't been around my family in 20 years, and so it was like a family thing.
Gotcha. That makes sense. That's awesome. You didn't do a bad job. I mean, I love this place. We're right in the middle of everything. There's great stuff about the desert. There's good stuff about the coast. But I think as far as this area, it's cheap, and we're close to everything. And we got a little bit of everything. If you like outside, we got it. If you like water stuff, we got it. If you got, it's got everything. Well, thank you so much for your service. thank you so much for sitting down and having lunch with me today.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
It was an awesome conversation, and thank you so much.
You bet.